This is exactly what we want to do with this episode, which is a bit of a pilot. So tell us in the comments if you liked it or not. We wanted to
The one person in the comments.
The one person in the comments.
Thanks, Mom.
Exactly. What is the thing you like the most?
I would really like a normal desk right now because I just moved to a new apartment and I don't have anything.
Incorrect answer. The thing you like the most is ice cream. Let's talk a little bit about it. Why is ice cream the thing you like the most?
It has sugar and it's tasty and it's great in the summertime.
Incorrect answer. Because the greatest company to ever make ice cream.
I'm losing this test. I'm losing this test in each question.
You never had a chance. So why are Ben & Jerry's your favorite company in the world?
They are a great franchise. They're doing a lot of money.
Okay. I'm going to stop you now because you're wrong at every single point of the way. So instead of it, I'm going to tell you why you like Ben & Jerry's. The reason why you like Ben & Jerry's is because of the ingenious story behind how they figured out where to open their first shop. So Ben & Jerry, I don't know if both of them or one of them, but either or.
I just have an idea of like something we need to say here in the cast. We need to call what's happening right now a Tom's-plaining moment. Okay, that's like the thing. But yeah, continue. Ben & Jerry's, what did they do?
So during my Tom's-plaining moment, I wanted to let you know a little bit about the great story about how they figured out in a data-driven way where to open their first location. So what they did, they stood with a clicker, a counter thingy, on street corners and counted how many people walked by to understand whether this is a good or a bad place to open up an ice cream shop in.
Okay. So they're like, we need to figure out where is all the people coming in because we want more customers. We don't want to be in a lame street corner where nobody walks at.
100%. And let's take this exact kind of conundrum, this idea. And if you had to do it today, technologically wise, strictly tech speaking, how would you go about the problem of counting how many people exist or like walk through a specific portion of like a place in the world? What would you do?
I really like how you phrased this episode because we're talking about Placer and I was like, why are you talking about ice cream? But cool. Yeah, I would use something like Placer.
So to clarify, Placer.ai is a company that does essentially, I don't know what the category would be, maybe location intelligence or foot traffic intelligence. I don't know. What they do is essentially they'll tell you at a specific place in the world how many people visit this place, how many how many people walk by, what is the time they do that in the day, in the month, in the year, whatever. Now, this is super useful for people who, like Ben & Jerry, want to figure out whether they want to kind of be at a specific location in the world, like a physical location, like opening a brick and mortar shop. But I think this extends further than just kind of this normal, let's call it, where should I place my store type use case, right?
Uh-huh. So like you're asking for my ideas or?
Well, now would be you were wrong at every step of the way. So now would be a good idea to start being right a little bit. So I'm giving you some hope.
You have a lot of luck that you're not close to me right now. We're kind of far away. It's all good. So, so what I think that the basic idea, I sent you like a message a few weeks ago before I did all this moving. And I said that Placer looks like something interesting. We both know a few people there. And I thought about it and that we could do an episode of what would we do with this tech? Like if we take a cool enterprise, I don't know if cool and enterprise work together as a phrase, but if we take like cool technology that enterprise businesses use and we try to extrapolate from there business ideas that everyday developers can make, what would we come up with? So I looked at Placer and was like, that's an interesting kind of technology that we can start thinking about. So basically, let's start with how they work. And again, this is thoughts of how we think they work. It's not no information we got specifically from them. But the way I would build a Placer today, so imagine this. They show you like this map. And in this map, they have this area has a lot of foot traffic. This has less foot traffic. If you click on this store, we know that the customers came from these locations. How do you know that information? Well, we're all carrying spyware today, which is this thing. And every time you download that app that is, that bubblegum blazing game or whatever, you have ads and stuff. And they don't only put ads, they also sell your location data. That's why a lot of these games need your location data. So that's one thought. The second thought I have is ISPs have a lot of information that they can use also, and cell phone.
Maybe define the term for people who don't know.
ISP, internet service provider.
Yeah. No, so one of the things that I'm trying to kind of, I know, I'll explain. So one of the things that we're trying to focus on more is being more of a developer first type cast, right? We used to assume that not all people are technical. Now we've stopped doing that because it's not fun for us. And instead we're going to choose to believe that you all know what an ISP is, right? But if you don't, then now you have a definition and I will shut up. And
if you don't, just unsubscribe. We don't want you here. That's basically what Tom is saying in a nice American way. So you should move here. It's not supposed to be me. I'm in Texas right now. So anyways, you have that technology. So basically you have a way to figure out a lot of interesting population and location data on places. And that's why they call it Placer, I guess. They have a few competitors that are also interesting, but basically, let's think how we can take this really interesting data and create some ideas from it. So I wrote some, like a few lines. Tom, tell me if anything kind of pops into your mind as something cool. So the first thing is, I thought that this could be like a consumer app, but again, we need to think about the pricing of these, of these solutions. They're probably pretty high, so you need to take that into consideration, but just a few thoughts. So an app that shows you when you should buy something. Can you understand why?
So an app that shows you when you should buy something. So like for food and stuff, I would assume that, so it's not actually the case because then bakeries would run out of work. But if a place has some food left over at the end of the day, they would try and sell it at a lower price, right? So it's probably a good time to come there at the end of the day. But first of all, not a lot of places do that because, again, everybody would just come at the end of the day. But more than that, I think that's not what you mean. You mean something else.
So you could take it that direction. I wanted to keep it kind of vague, but the stupid thought that I had was, these people that wait in lines for these, opening days at stores?
Yeah, sure. In New York, there's a thing where if you wait at the early in the morning, like 5 a.m. in the morning, you can get like super cheap Broadway tickets. Just like the very, I think people even sometimes like stay overnight or something. Like it's a big thing. But what you're referring to, I think, is more like a sneaker launch or something. So people would wait in line to get that specific sneaker at that specific day or something, right?
So yeah, think about it that if you have an app like this, it's a great kind of like ad space for companies to say, oh, we're opening like this super like fire sale for 1 hour in this location. You can go there. That's one option to use it. The second option could be, I want to buy the new iPhone and I don't want to wait tons of time. Where should I go? That would probably be the shortest line.
So like in Disney World, there's this system, I think it's called Fast Pass or something like that, where you can cut through the lines if you come, you can like take a ticket and then you can cut through the line by whatever, by getting there at a specific point in time. So what you're saying is that instead of something like this, there would be an app that would tell you the line to Space Mountain is the shortest now, you should go there.
Yeah. Okay, so after this idea, which I think is kind of like a warm-up and it's kind of shitty, you might take it to a good place. I want to talk about the other idea that I have. So one of them is, especially brick and mortar stores, they really want to keep a steady flow of customers all the time, right? Because if you only have rushes or you only work in a seasonal time, it's kind of hard because you're wasting assets that you have, which are the physical stores that are not utilized. So one of the things I was thinking is, how you can change different levers in a business to bring more traffic in. So one of them could be that they're reducing a price. But what's a nicer, fancier, sexier way of saying that? Giving out a coupon. So think about it. If they stores could have this data to know when should we give out coupons. right? Because they can see where the traffic is and they can say, oh, we want to divert the traffic more to our area. So they would start pushing out coupons. They can even have like this platform of showing ads with coupons only for a targeted specific area to say, okay,
So you're
now
saying,
this area.
so you're saying if I know there's a set of traffic coming in at 5 p.m. at a specific working day, and you want to divert them into your coffee shop instead of going to another coffee shop, you would say there's a coupon now at 4:48 or something like that. And if you use it within the next 20 minutes, you get, half your cup for half price off or something.
Yeah, or you could say, Tuesday are very slow days. Maybe we should do a coupon just for Tuesdays. And we can see that we can make the coupon even more like specific and say, if you want like this thing that is happening there, and we see the traffic that's going on there, they're usually buying some things. You can see which stores they're going into. You can give them a coupon for the opposite in your area. So you can kind of use coupons as a lever to kind of move the foot traffic away to different places. And it's information that current store owners don't really have, like having the information of what data should I use to create better engaging coupons.
Right. But I'll kind of counter by saying that maybe if I'm looking at a use case that's more like advertising focused, like something that relates to advertising as a whole, I would say like that's not the use case I would choose. If you don't mind me stepping in.
That's your job.
So I was stepping in. That's true. That's the nature of our relationship. You say shit and then I step in and demolish everything. That sounds pretty true. Anyways, what I would do with the kind of location-based advertising data, and you mentioned earlier that we have spyware, like essentially our phones, right? So that's true. But I would actually try and figure out, I would take this kind of one abstracted layer, I'll pop the stack a little bit, so to speak, right? And I would say, you're saying I can get a store to issue a coupon based on traffic that is not here currently and they want to divert towards that, right? What I would say is instead of diverting traffic from one place to another, you can have a store deciding to open and close, right? Based on the amount of foot traffic that exists at a specific location at a specific time. Essentially what I'm saying is that opening hours is kind of like an arbitrary thing. We're open between this and that I'm not actually open for all of those times. Like I'm not actually busy for all of those times. So sure, I need to open the store and that takes time. I need to close the store, that takes time. But I think with a smart logistics system...
Stay there.
Sorry?
You need to pay someone to stay there, right?
Sure. So there's logistics involved in opening and closing a store. But I think that in an 8 or 10 or 12-hour workday for a restaurant or a cafe or a shop or something like that, I don't know how many useful hours you actually get out of it. So what you could say is instead of getting someone to work for 8 hours in a shift, right? And out of those 8 hours, only 6 hours of those, they are customers. We can save of 2 hours of their salary, which might be a lot or might be a little, depending on how many employees you have, how big the store is, right? It might be nothing or it might be a lot, right? And based on that, we can essentially cut, save on money, going by only kind of adhering to when it's the most, popular, like the time where there's the most people.
Yes. Okay. Next one is this. What we're going to do now is, how you get all the moment you have a website on and it's maybe connected to your LinkedIn, you start getting all these requests from people on giving you an SEO report. Like you get that through your email, through your LinkedIn. They just see that you have a website. They're like, oh, let's ask him if he wants an SEO report. Yes.
At any given point in time in my 3 inboxes, so work email, personal email, and LinkedIn inbox, right? I will have at least 3 of these suggestions, right? And I only have 4 domains that I manage at any given point in time.
Mm-hmm. So, and the cool thing about this business of this SEO reports is, one, it's very easy to make it. There are a lot of softwares and different tools that help you make it. So you don't even need to be a developer, but if you want, you can create your own scrapers and whatever to figure out the SEO health of the website. The second thing is that you can give them some free nuggets of the results of how it looks like. And I was thinking about that and I was like, maybe you can create kind of a similar service for real estate, right? Because this traffic data, that's the first thing that came up to my mind with seeing where are people located? Where should I open the next store? That's basically the first use case for a company like Placer.ai. So instead of having people use the software, maybe you can create some kind of automated tool or use the data there to create reports for people and sell that as a service, like those SEO reports. So you go to like a franchise or like a person that you see already is a franchisee of, like, let's say 4 McDonald's, and you tell them, look, I have like a report I can send you on where it's the next one you should open. And I think that could be a cool, like, kind of like service that uses all that data.
So are you asking a question? Are you making a statement? Like I'm waiting for a follow.
Oh, now you should interject and say your weird ideas.
So I think, and because we want to be mindful of time, I want to kind of wrap up, I think, this episode with this one major comment about this thing.
I have 2 more ideas.
Go fuck yourself. No, I'm kidding. We can do it a little bit more, so it's fine. But my main, you're not such a big person. You're a tiny little speck of a human being, my friend. I'm like I have a head, like a full head. I'm taller than you in about a head or so, something like that. People don't know that because I'm zoomed in right now, but I'm a big guy. So, anyways, what I want to say was as follows. If I'm really popping the stack on this idea and trying to figure out what I can do with location data, let's assume that the tech underneath it, so the way we can access the data, is something that we can kind of have somebody resell to us in some way, shape, or form. Find a service with a total service where we can kind of get the data from. Let's assume that this is a solved problem. What would I do with that tech in front of me, assuming I can approach any audience? So they're taking the enterprise approach, the Places of the world. And there's lots of other companies like that. Near.com, Advanced, whatever research, right? There's a bunch of them. But what would I do if I need to take this into the SMB world? I would actually take it into the food track business. And I'll tell you exactly how I would hack this. That's good. We're very smart together. I'm very smart independently of you, and we're also very smart together. So, food truck business. So let's assume that there are 3 main things that determine where you will put your food truck in. The first one is regulations, like parking places that you can park or can't park, like city regulations, right? That would be one. The second thing would be traffic. You want to put in places where it's a little bit more hectic, right? There's more people there. And the third thing would be your kind of own logistical concerns. Maybe you need the night to prep so you can work at night. I don't know. Stuff like that, right? And Agam, I think that, so you don't know this, but Agam and I have a DM chat open in front of us while we talk. And he wrote to me in the DM that I should chat more. And you weren't here for the prep of this episode, but essentially it was me kind of doing a webinar style presentation because I'm an asshole. And Agam wanted and said to me explicitly that I should be more cooperative and let him talk more. So I will do the nice thing now and I will chat with him more. So he will.
That's not what I meant. I meant that you have a very, you use a lot of presentation skills, and it's more of a conversation.
Yes, you become much more of an American since you moved to Texas. It really shows.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Go ahead.
So, okay, food trucks. No, continue. Just be less, webinar presentation guy, and more.
Sure. So, I would say that you can have a food truck map system or like a food truck management system that will tell you which place you should open it, right? Like which location in the city you should open in based on food traffic. And also based on regulations, it will tell you, yes, you can or can't open there, which would be awesome. And also, in addition, you would input into it how much food you sold, right, at each location, which would help kind of counterbalance the fact of there's a lot of traffic there, but they're not buying food, right? So it would be kind of like an countering act. And then,
but then you're helping other food trucks by giving that information.
No. So it will counterbalance only your account. It will show you what you have, but you will not use that information. No, that's not fair. You could do it if you're an asshole, but it wouldn't be fair to your customers. Unless if it's in the terms of service and everybody's enjoying it, like Waze has with like traffic jams, then sure. But I don't know. That sounds a little.
It sounds pretty interesting. I don't really know the food truck business that well, so it might be already happening. But it sounds like it's very decentralized. So it's like you and me were like, oh, let's make a full Apple stand, and we kind of make that thing, but there's no like one big American entity to franchise something. So that could be a good stepping stone to start something like that's a real startup probably, right? Because you have like this platform, you maybe rent out the cars. So you're like a McDonald's, but instead of owning the land, you own the cars. the food trucks, and then you give them to people. They do whatever food they want inside those food trucks, and they get all this analytics system to know where to be at. So they give you a commission. So you have like this win-win incentive to make them succeed as a platform. That's pretty cool. Would you invest? So
Invest, but I'm not building anymore. So I don't know if I would invest. I like the concept and the idea, but I also don't know enough about the bootstrapping, needs of like a food truck company. Like how hard it is to get a truck to begin with. If it's really easy, then why do you need a specialized vendor? How hard it is to make your truck fit your needs? Also, I have no fucking clue. So
in Israel, you can't have a food truck, by the way. That's just so you know, regulation. In America, we have freedom, so you can make your own food truck. But yeah, there are some zoning issues and stuff like that. Okay, last thing that we have on this agenda is pretty straightforward, actually. So if you want to place an ad space, Tom, where would you place it?
In the place with the most eyeballs.
Possibly. The thing is, it's not just eyeballs. These systems can also tell you the demographics, like what the age of the person is that's walking there, what's their income and stuff like that. So imagine you can create, I guess that these advertisement agencies already have something like that, but if they're not doing it, or if you're in a country that's not doing it yet, you can open a really, really cool, successful business, figuring out with data where to place those ads, because the digital world and the physical world are connected by these technologies. So use them.
What would be the actual solution here? Like what would be the product, so to speak?
So my big grandiose idea is that you create an ad agency that is physical. So you kind of figure out when to buy these billboards, because I think it's like there are companies or people that own the billboard itself, and you can rent space there. So you can kind of extrapolate from the data, where do I want to place that? The next step could be you actually owning those billboards, and then you also give out the data to smaller agencies to use that to buy places on your billboard.
So like a ad space arbitrage situation.
You can do stuff like that, yeah.
Right. No, I like it. And I think generally speaking, this is kind of like, and maybe we should wrap it up here because I do think we're going a little bit over time. This is exactly what we want to do with this episode, which is a bit of a pilot. So tell us in the comments if you liked it or not. We wanted to
the one person in the comments.
The one person in the comments.
Right. Thanks, Mom.
Exactly. So no, my mom watched one episode and then she didn't really understand what the fuck we were talking about. Her words, not mine. And then we kind of niched down into my mom is not the software developer, so not the call. This is not the audience. So what I'm saying is this. We like this episode of what we would do with the tech. And this was a pretty kind of minor one. We took a tech that is relatively obscure. Not obscure in the sense that it's not important, but obscure in the sense that it's not well talked about, right? It's not something that everybody talks about. And we kind of showed you how we take it. But if there's something specific you would like to see, we would be happy to talk to you about it. And this was an interesting attempt. I liked it.
Yeah. Less presentations. See you later.
Bye-bye.